Well, and good morning. Welcome to JLJ this morning. I am James Lott Jr. of JLJ and JLJ Media, the network that you're here either listening or watching us on. And we appreciate you being here this morning. It's our place for positivity and encouragement. Get your day started off right. And if you're listening to us at nighttime, watch us at nighttime, that's fine too. Get your night settled in. We'll look at it that way, right? Either way, you can always use positivity in your life. I know I can. And she is a guest of our show, a friend of the show. She has her podcast. She has her websites. It's all about positivity. And we're going to give you all the information at the end, of course. It's my friend, Positively Lisa Zawrotny. How are you?
Hello, I am happy to be here.
Yes.
Shocker.
And I want you out there. I want you out there. She and I always get along. We've got along for years. We've always been on each other's shows. This isn't phony. We are happily positive. We also know how life is, and we feel all our emotions and everything is. We have things that go on,
Yeah.
but we are generally happy people in many ways. We work to be happy. It takes work,
Yeah.
and it's nicer to be positive than negative, right?
Well, you just bring a different energy to everything that you do when you can find the positivity, which we access through gratitude. And you and I have another show about that, and it's just so amazing. And I think that's where we bonded. We both could find the good in things. I mean, do not get me wrong. Both of us will sit down with you with a drink and be like,
Oh
"Tell
yeah.
me,
Oh yes.
tell me about it." Right?
You,
Just this word 2020. I get it. I get it.
oh,
There's
I know.
so much
Oh,
that
oh,
has been on us, right?
oh yeah.
So, but we're here to encourage you to find the good, even when you have to like dig,
You may
like to the back of the
have
closet for
right,
it,
you may
right?
have to. You may have to. The back of the
Yeah.
drawer, the back of the closet,
Yep.
garage, so way over
Yep.
there,
Yep.
back of the property.
Exactly.
You may have to find it, but it's there, folks.
Yeah, it is.
It really is there, and that's what this show, JLJ Media, JLJ this morning, is about. It's about finding it, and we're going to try to help you find ways to access it and talk about things openly on this show. And
Mhm.
today's show is about stress and productivity, but stress especially. We're going to talk
Yeah.
about what stress is and what it can do to you and all this kind of stuff. So we're going to start with Lisa. Your definition of stress is
Okay. Is again not what you think it is.
yeah,
because we say the word stress and we bandy this term about, and we usually talk about it in this negative way, but really what stress is the response that we have to something called a stressor. Something comes in at us, an event, a person, a situation, whatever comes at us, and we respond, and all our bodies really want to do is find the balance. And it's a fancy term is called homeostasis, right? And all we really want to do is find the balance, and how we respond is psychological and physiological. Okay. So that's where you have that fight and flight response that you hear about when your heart rate goes up and you get all excited. But here's the thing, and this is the positive spin on it: stress is not all bad. It can actually be good. The problem is, so we have acute and chronic. We have, so that's, just like you think, short term, long term, but we have something called eustress and something called distress. We just lump it all together as stress. Eustress is the good kind. It's the kind that lights a fire under your butt and gets you to do things, right? And you're like, ooh, the deadlines and the things that you set up to like create things, achieve goals. There's this law called the Yerkes Dodson law, and I can never remember the name of it, but it connects like stress and productivity, and how you need to have some stressors in order to kind of get you going.
makes
But it's
sense.
a bell right, but it's a bell curve. So it gets you going, it revs you up, but then when you have too much of it for too long, everything tanks. And that's what we think of when we think of stress. That's what we've been through, kind of like all of us in 2020, right? Was just like this next level of this chronic distress. That's the distinction. So that's the takeaway I want for today, is that it's not all bad. There's the good kind, and good and bad. I'm not so much of
I
a
know those words aren't the greatest, but I know what you mean. They're not the greatest.
Yeah, I'm not so much of a fan of the well, like, I'm not so much of a fan of the words good and bad, but it's more like, what does it serve us, and how does it serve us, and how, maybe it doesn't serve us, and that's where the chronic distress comes in.
Yeah, no, I'm like, no, I get what you're saying. It's one of those things where like sometimes you need something to kind of bump you forward or bump you up.
Yes.
Sometimes something happens and it does light a fire, you go, oh, or sometimes something happens and you discover something out of it that's positive.
Yeah.
Thank God, if this hadn't happened, I would have a better system in place for the next time.
Exactly. Something goes awry, and then that forces you to create a backup, or, there's definitely opportunities in the mistakes and the things like that. And so then you need to understand, when the stressors come in, what are your thresholds? What are your limits? And when you know what you can handle, self-awareness, this is crucial for us. It's what I call the number one productivity tool that we have, understanding ourselves, right? Because for some people, you're like, I couldn't imagine if, like, something went wrong. To be honest, something did just go wrong for me. There was a sound coming out of my my little Alexa here,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm recording right now, blah, and but I'm good with it. Now, for some people, that would freak them out, and like,
Whole day, ruin their whole day.
right, exactly. So this is, no judgment here. It's just simply understand how you respond to these things. And then you can go about figuring out how to manage it. And that's the concept of stress management.
Well, I think, this applies, especially in 2020. We mentioned 2020 briefly, and
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, COVID hit, and I'm in LA, and everything shut down. I had to pivot, and love
Yep.
had to. And what I saw, what was beautiful last year for a lot of creatives, our fellow organizers, productivity specialists,
Yep.
there was a shift. People had to figure it out and be creative at how they presented their product. Now it was
Exactly.
we're on Zoom. Zoom was for meetings, for corporate meetings, and so it was not for this kind of stuff. I do all my
Yep.
shows on Zoom now. All the networks use Zoom, and we all use Google Teams, Microsoft Teams, and Google this and that. These things were not set up for this, but I live in gratitude that they are
Hmm.
set up and we can use them for stuff like this, so the show can go on.
Right.
But the stress was kind of trying to figure it out. It was a stress that was out of our control,
Hmm.
and we had to react to it a certain way. Like you said, decide how to react to it and make
Yeah.
the stress work for you. I think 2020 is a great example of that.
It is, and it's also a great example of the opportunities within it. And I love that you brought that up, that it's like, okay, now we can do this. And what I love about this is, now that we have all sort of in a global way discovered these opportunities, no matter what happens next, no matter how much our opportunities to be with each other in person open up again, we continue to have this connection as well. And I mean, for us, as an example, we're on opposite coasts. So I love that we can connect this way. And how beautiful is that?
I agree. And I agree with that completely. That we can still be linked up together. And I hope it continues too. But the stress part, stress comes,
Yep.
okay, it's okay to feel a little stressed about it, but
Yep.
how do you deal with it and turn it around so that it's not, it's a killer. Stress is a killer, folks. You said physiology. I mean, it's a killer.
It is, when you have chronic distress and it keeps going, that's when you are linked to, I mean, name a problem.
Right.
High blood pressure, and, skin issues, digestive issues,
And
and it, yeah, exactly, all of it. And it's so often we have these issues and we don't even think, oh, it must be stress. You know what I mean? You think it's something else that's going on, and it's like, but that's what's causing it. So the more that we can understand how we can manage the stress. And again, that means managing the levels in the way that serves us, and mitigating the ways in which it doesn't serve us.
so
Balance.
maybe hopefully that'll make you look at stress a little differently. Uh,
Hmm.
exactly. We'll have more discussions on this show about this, about stress and all that stuff. But I want to give you kind of an introduction to kind of like stress. Yeah, stress isn't fun all the time, but it's not necessarily something that's going to tear you down completely. It actually can help build you up, and maybe
Yeah,
in ways that you had no idea, in better ways, right?
there you go.
Okay, this. Thank you, Miss Lisa, for being on the show. Of course, tell us folks we can find your podcast, your website, and of course it'll be in the description. But please tell people out there.
Oh, I would love for you to come join me on the Positively Living podcast. You can find me on all of the platforms. You can go right to my website, positivelyproductive.com. It links you out to all the places where I'm playing. But I have a lot of fun on Instagram, especially. That's positively_Lisa. And you can come play with James and me over there.
Please do. I'm at James Lott Jr. We're all James Lott Jr.'s are sold everywhere, even on TikTok. I'm on TikTok doing weird stuff on there. It's all fun stuff. But I'm not doing the dances or nothing. But I talk on there lots.
Oh, what I wouldn't give to see you doing those dances.
And everybody wants me to. Maybe one day with the weights. But right now, I just talk to you with my deep voice. And also, you can follow JLJ Media on all social media platforms, all streaming services, and my network on YouTube. So go ahead, be kind, rewind. No, like it. Share with anybody who needs to hear this, because stress is something that we all have it. We all get it. That's one thing collectively we get. So let's invite people to think of different ways of how to look at it. Please have a great day today, you guys. Everybody, please. I'm sending you all positive energy, healing energy. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.